Ryan, first of all, just to address something from Tuesday night, obviously Shiloh Tracy going off injured. Have you got any more news on him yet and as to how he is at the moment?
Yeah, he's getting assessed. He was in yesterday, getting assessed by Dan. We don't think it's nothing too serious, but we're unsure whether he'll be available for the weekend yet.
I suppose that you've got to take it carefully with him, haven't you? Because injuries like that, even though they're impact ones, you don't really know how well they are till they've settled down, I suppose.
Yeah, and it's all about how quickly the swelling will settle down. We think it'll be a matter of days, but whether it's settles down quick enough for him to be involved on Saturday yet, we won't know till tomorrow.
I imagine that is somewhat of a relief though, isn't it? Because it did look nasty at the time, but by the same token, you don't want another injury to another forward, do you?
Yeah, absolutely. So the positive signs are it doesn't seem like it's going to be too long term, matter of days. But obviously touch wood that he's available for the weekend.
He has brought a different dimension to the team. A lot, Dan Ajay last year had a similar role using his pace, but when you see how he plays and the places he can play, he's brought a bit of a different dimension to you, hasn't he?
Yeah, he's very versatile. He can play off both sides. He can play down the middle, and he's so explosive and quick. Changes direction quickly. Got lovely balance when he's driving forward with the ball, and he's a nightmare for defenders when he's on it.
There's a lot of versatility in that forward line as well when you look at the different types of players you've got. Was that very conscious of doing that with the recruitment in the summer, that you got different types of players and not just like for like replacements in a system, you can mix it up a little bit?
Yeah, I think it's important you've got options, not just in personnel but options to play in slightly different ways as well. We've played with two up there at times and we've played with a front three, so it's important you've got different attributes that people can utilise to allow you to play different ways or different styles when needed.
All right, Tuesday night apart, but the MK Dons game, Courtney Baker-Richardson gets a goal, Chris Long gets a goal as well. So we've just talked to Chris about centre forwards are always judged on goals, aren't they? And all of them starting to hit that trail a bit. That's good news as well.
Yeah, absolutely. And obviously, Graham mentioned last week that we went a couple of games without scoring, but we always felt that we were creating opportunities and getting into the right areas of the pitch, and it was only a matter of time before we started putting them chances away, and the lads did that on Saturday against MK Dons.
And that result itself must be a really good boost, because like we just said to Chris Long, it's about taking that into away games now, isn't it? And being not turning things around, but perhaps being a bit more consistent, turning draws into wins away from home.
Yeah, that's the plan. We've obviously got a good record at the moment at home, not so good away. It's about transitioning them performances we've been putting on at home. Can we put that away, making sure we're competitive and solid at the back, and taking our chances when they arise throughout the games.
Has that been something that's been a bit of a priority as this season's maybe developed, not so much at the start, being as you have drawn quite a few games and you've had to come from behind in matches? Is it a matter of striking that balance a bit more between attacking and defending?
Yeah, we obviously don't set out to draw games of football, but you never know what happens throughout the games. We go in with a plan that we think we can execute to try and get 3 points. Sometimes that's worked, sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes you have to change things within game, but it's just trying to get that consistency a bit more fluid from the first minute to the last minute.
At the other end, I just wanted to ask you about your goalkeeper. We spoke to Fred Barber a few weeks ago, talked about how he's developing well, and you've used what you've done with Arthur and James to now try and develop him. What's your take on how Harvey's been doing so far this year?
Yeah, I think he's settled in. His performances are getting better. He's looking more assured with what he's doing. He's brought a composure and calmness when building from the back. And I think he's been good with his shot stopping. He's obviously got a lot to keep learning, keep developing, but positive and pleasing signs at the moment. And
it's important he's got competition as well, and therefore important that Tom Booth got a game the other night as well to keep his minutes up.
Yeah, absolutely. Tom's obviously chomping at the bit because he wants the opportunity. So Harvey's got to keep performing. If he doesn't keep performing, then Tom will get his opportunity. So it's important Tom continues to work hard and continues to train hard to keep pushing him, so when his opportunities come around, he's ready to take them.
You've got some experience in the defence in front of him as well now. Does that help when you've got two younger goalkeepers too, who might not be, quite in their prime yet and they're still learning their trade?
I think it just helps having good players in front of you, regardless of age. I think it just helps when you've got good players. I think Luke's been outstanding this season so far. I think Conor Reading, since coming into the team, having missed the first few games, has been terrific. And I think Mickey's been good as well. And like you say, Mickey's got that older head, that older experience. But first and foremost, you just need good players in front of you, and they've all performed really well. Zach Williams included in that as well. So they've struck a nice balance so far.
Let's talk about Forest Green a bit then. You know, they're a team that got relegated last year and kind of had a really bad season. They haven't quite found their feet yet, but they've got a lot of experience in their lineup. What type of a game are you expecting from them?
So we've watched them a couple of times this week. They've obviously brought Troy Deeney in, who's going to be a handful, wealth of experience and quality. But they've got some good players. They'll definitely pick up in terms of form and performances. They can do a bit of both. We've seen on games where they like to build. We've seen on games where they're more of a transitional team, so they'll allow you to have the ball and pick the moments to try and counter. And with playing tuck there, they're not afraid to drop balls into Deeney and try and pick up second phases and get bodies around him early. So they can do a bit of everything. We've just got to focus on what we can do, focus on how we can implement what we need to do to get success throughout the game, and hopefully get another positive result.
There'll be a learning curve for some of the younger lads as well, won't it? Because obviously he's played in the Premier League and he knows all the tricks as well. So for some of the younger lads out there, that will be a bit of a learning curve for them. But again, it's good from it's part of the game they've got to learn.
Yeah, it's going to be a test, but it's part of their development, and I have full faith in them that they'll do well and they'll compete well and they'll allow us to get a foothold in the game.